Ms. Amber, we do have the addition letter. All right. Since we've got a baby who's the first thing up, let's call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order here at 10 o'clock. All those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Maybe do we have anybody here for public comment? If so, we might want to slow it down until after we've done the Stork Award for the 911. But do we have anybody? Probably don't. We don't seem to. Okay. We'll move on. Any additions to the agenda? I see we have one.
It looks like we would be adding a letter of support for Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center grant. Do I need to make a motion to do that?
I believe so,
Okay.
yes.
Then I will move to add a letter of support for the Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center grant.
I will second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to add the letter of support for the Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center grant. Natalie, can we put that, where should we put that on
So
the
you
agenda?
can do it, I think historically they are after our authorities, boards, and commissions.
Okay,
So we'll do it prior to the check run.
all right. So all those in favor of adding the letter of support for the Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center grant after the authorities, boards, and commissions, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. That is added to the agenda. Moving on to the meeting minutes. Everybody okay with those minutes? All right, we'll
I'll
take a
move to
motion.
approve the minutes from the meeting held September 17th.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes for the meeting held on September 17th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, now something that happens pretty rarely here at the county. We have an announcement for a Stork pin recognition for dispatcher Kiera Tice and Norm, Ramey, and Trevor. We'll cover this, but the family is also here, so I believe we have a 15-day-old baby in the audience, which has got to be the youngest person in this room in history. So I'll hand it over to Norm.
Big to-do.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very excited to do this today. Unfortunately, we got the family, Braden, Lauren, Adeline, and baby Everly, to join us today. But today we're here for a special recognition of a Stork pin for our 911 dispatcher, Kiera Tice, for assisting in helping the family deliver a baby on September 8th. Assisting with a baby delivery is not an everyday occurrence at Center County 911. Fortunately, all of our 911 staff are trained and certified in emergency medical dispatch for these type of events. Some dispatchers never assist with childbirth in their entire career. Kiera is fortunate to experience this early in her career at 911. Also, dispatchers do not get closure on many incidents and rarely get the opportunity to meet our callers, but today we were able to bring Kiera and the family together to meet in person and celebrate the life that Kiera helped bring into this world. Our Midnight Supervisor, Trevor Harris, would also like to share some thoughts.
Hello, everybody. My name's Trevor Harris. I was the supervisor that was on duty this night that Kiera brought this young life into the world. It was a very unusual thing to happen at that hour of the day. We're wrapping up from a very busy Penn State home football weekend. It kept us busy all night, and we finally just started to die down from that activity. All the bar close activity finished. We were finally just getting to hang out for a few minutes and just rest our minds. And this 911 call came in off of Interstate 80 in Marion Township at the new Howard exit for an active childbirth. And usually for something that's so far out like that they're in a moving vehicle, we can normally instruct them to try to drive closer to an ambulance to meet them somewhere. But in this case, the child was coming and we did not have time for that. So we had to start our delivery instructions right along the interstate. I've been here for 8 years and I've witnessed some childbirths. Usually they're very fast and they've already been delivered by the time the 911 call comes in. Kiera got to go through the whole process and the whole birthing process, and it was a very successful call. It was a very good mood to have that night. You're dealing with so much bad in our job and sad events that happen, and then randomly at 3 o'clock in the morning, something so amazing happens, and we did a good job. The family did an amazing job. Braden, I got to give you all the props in the world. You were very calm throughout the process, and usually that's not what we get, but it was a great outcome. I'm not sure if you guys saw the Facebook post our department posted that night. Something that stands out about that Facebook post was the photo that was taken was actually live at the time she was handling that call. If you look at the screen in the background of Kiera on that photo, you can see the phone ping off of Interstate 80. Our green light was on next to Kiera, so that call was still active, and she was actively giving instructions to deliver that child at the time that photo was taken. So that's something that we don't ever get to have happen, so it was a really, really good occurrence. But on behalf of the 911 department, we want to congratulate Kiera. She did a very good job, and we're really proud of her. So.
Commissioners are, Commissioners are very proud too. Is there anything you'd like to add, Kiera?
Honestly, it was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, everybody talks about, like, you hear this, the more seniority employees talking about their experiencing, and just to have it before I even hit my 2-year mark is insane.
Wonderful. We very much appreciate that. And we're so happy that the family is here. It helps bring closure for staff, especially at 911, where they can get hundreds of phone calls in a day, and they sometimes never know what actually happened for the incident. Sounds like the family was very resourceful, and everything turned out really well. So very much appreciate this. I'll turn over to Commissioner Concepcion for any additional comments.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kiera, for your work. I think, that's just an amazing thing to be able to be a part of. And congratulations to the family. I'm just so glad that this turned out so well. Good work, both of you, for, seeing each other through that time and getting to see your daughter come into the world. I'm sure that'll be one of those stories that's told, as she's growing up. I know childbirth is scary, and even in a hospital. So, to be able to do that on the side of a highway and, go through all of that and keep your heads together and focus on the goal, which is healthy baby girl. So congratulations. So happy for you. And Kiera, like, your presence of mind, I'm sure, at that time, and just working through your training made all the difference. So.
Thank you, Commissioner Concepcion. Commissioner Dershowitz.
Well, I think, first of all, we're incredibly proud of your whole team. It's one of those moments where I'm sure you didn't go to work that night thinking, hey, I'm going to deliver a baby.
Absolutely. I know.
And I'm thinking that probably when it happened, like all your muscle memory of all the things you were trained and all those things, it's okay, let's just kind of prioritize things, breathe deep, and keep on task here. And obviously, your CIT training probably kicked in a little bit. And you're just doing the whole, how do we keep everybody like de-escalated here and make this happen? And I think, we have Commissioner Beerley in the audience today, and I think, we've, just when we think we've seen it all, Keith, it just, these things come along and just make us incredibly proud of the generations of folks that have made a difference here in Center County. And you're the new breed, so you're the young one that's learning all the stuff. And I think this stands as a real honor and badge for you and everybody in your office. But you stand as a testament to that the training and things that we represent. And Trevor and Norm and everybody that came before him. I mean, this is a tradition of helping and serving the citizens of Center County. It, again, goes back generations, and it's really good that you're now on the cutting edge. You're the tip of that spear, so
Yep.
congratulations.
Thank you.
So we'd like to definitely thank Kiera and Trevor, Norm, Ramey, the whole team at Center County 911, and the other roughly 550 employees of Center County government assist upwards of 18,000 citizens every year here in Center County. This one's just a little more dramatic and a bit more heartwarming than the average situation, but they're all important. And unless there's anything else, I think we could
Oh,
probably.
there's something else.
There's something else?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I'm saying start with the recognition
Well,
pin
we have
and
the,
have
we
the
have
family come
back
up.
there. I want to hear
Yeah.
from them.
Is there anything the
I
family
want
would
to
like to
hear what Dad
say?
had to say in the middle of this. This is a learning experience for us. Come on
Yeah.
up and tell us a little about the adventure, Dad.
But it's an adventure.
That one today. Between us. I think it's a wonderful thing you guys brought us. Thank you very much for all you've done and recognizing her too. Thank you to the emergency services and having the both ends of the call here. It's probably just your normal everyday routine. You know, you just got to do your job, I'm sure. But your average job is dealing with panicked people and all the emotions and fear. But you did a wonderful job. There was a lot going on in that little car. You were a calm, peaceful voice, methodic with the steps, and that's it. Thank you. Thank you for helping us bring another child in.
Do we get to meet Everly?
Oh, sure, yep, hold on here.
And Adeline?
Oh, my goodness.
You did a great job. We appreciate you.
You did a great
And-
job.
Yes.
With the help of both of you, Center County is very blessed to have you as a dispatcher. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're making us proud, Kiera.
Yeah?
As soon as you asked me where we were, she was already having the back hatch open, whipping stuff out.
That's the inside baseball
Yeah?
stuff.
She said,
She's not
"Where
waiting.
are you?" And I'm trying to look at the GPS. I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
Well, this is.
Likely
this
there'll
is-
be stories told for many
Yes.
generations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is tremendous. Since the family's up, why don't we just all come on up and
do a picture.
get the picture and award the pin?
can you behave?"
Let JJ clear some stuff out a little bit.
Congratulations. Well done. Well
Come on
done.
over. Probably on this side of Belmont.
Just had to get
Oh, that's okay. Thank you. It happened.
Get up here. You're the keeper of the keys. The leader of the band. Get this guy in, this shy guy in here.
We've got the pin. Yeah, it's a real pin. A little tighter. Need to swing a little further. All right. We'll have the family, we'll have mom centered right where it happened.
3, 2, 1.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations. You've done us proud. She did all the work.
Thank you so much.
You're so brave.
No, kind of heat of the moment.
The options were limited that night for,
They sure were.
yeah, well, we're glad we could be part of
Yes, thank you for
your
letting us be
celebration.
a part of it.
This is what we look forward
Why
to.
we do what we do. Yeah.
A good story. So.
Yep.
It'll be a great story for a long time.
It sure will be.
Thanks, Kiera. Well done.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Duties as otherwise assigned.
Yes, that's true. All right, I think JJ's going out to double check a quote, but I think the best one was, there was a whole lot going on in that little car that night. That's a good one. All right, so not a common occurrence, but not only did 911 help deliver a baby, it was right immediately after a home football game. You can't make this stuff up. We'll move on to proclamations. Proclamation number 48 of 2024, proclaiming October 20th as Center County Sports Hall of Fame Day in Center County. And we have Keith, Bonnie, Dick, and Lloyd all here to talk about that. We've got a number of people
Come on up.
being recognized. Come on up. We've got
Sit a couple
space
of you
for
at the
extras.
table up here,
Yeah, why don't
maybe
you
a
sit
couple
down
at
at
the
the
podium.
table?
Yeah, share the
Yeah.
podium and the table. These guys are all shy.
We're good. Thanks for having us here
You're
today. We
welcome.
really appreciate it. I'm Keith Beerley, president of the Center County Sports Hall of Fame. With me is Bonnie Burris, who's our secretary, and Dick Rhodes and Lloyd Rhodes. Dick and Lloyd are former members, but giving them that title doesn't do them justice. They're the founding fathers of the Center County Sports Hall of Fame. It doesn't exist without these two gentlemen and everything they did to start it, put the framework in place, the original board of directors, et cetera. We're here today to talk about the 11 people we're going to induct next month into the Center County Sports Hall of Fame. And then Dick and Lloyd will talk about the team that we're going to recognize, the Baltimore area wrestling team that is arguably one of the greatest sports teams in Center County history. I gave you copies of the 11 inductees, and I just want to briefly go over a little biography of them, and I'll be as quick as possible. We have 3 female inductees this year: Katrina Greer, Amanda Hamilton, and Carrie Lucas Lee. All 3 of those were all-state athletes here in Center County. Hamilton and Lee were both softball players, went on to Bloomsburg and Penn State and did a great job there. Lee actually led Penns Valley to the state softball championship. Katrina Greer was an all-state basketball player at Penns Valley High School and then went on to Clarion University and set records at both schools. Her free throw percentage was right around 90%, which is incredible for anybody at any level. I mean, that's professional type shooting. So we have those 3 females. We're fortunate again this year to have representatives from all the public high schools in Center County as well as Penn State University. We have rules in place where not every Penn State athlete is eligible, but if you are not a Center County native, but you come to Penn State and you essentially adopt Center County as your home, then we adopt you. And 2 of those examples would be Steve Jones and Jimmy Martin. Steve is longtime announcer for football and basketball, 30 years football, 40 years basketball. And Jimmy Martin is the all-time leading winner on the Penn State wrestling team, 155 wins, 4-time All-American and national champion. We have 2 deceased people that we are putting in this year, and they're both Bellefonte-based athletes, Denny DeWitt and Joe Kresovich. Both were outstanding football, baseball players. Kresovich was the first player in Center County history to be selected to the Big 33 game, which is a statewide honor. And he was recruited to the University of Maryland by Lee Corso, who's now an international icon on ESPN selecting games. Denny DeWitt went on to Penn State and became an All-American baseball player there. I actually had the privilege of pitching against DeWitt back in the day, and I could tell people that he never had a single off of me. They were all doubles, triples, and all. He was an incredible baseball player. The best swing I've ever seen on a baseball player. On the top row there is Greg Fote. Greg is a unique individual. He's a Special Olympian and has won so many medals that when we did the video shoot, we had to have a couple people try and carry them over for the video shoot. He literally had them on a tie rack, and he has medaled in so many sports we couldn't list them all. So we picked out a couple of them. In golf, he won the silver medal at the World Special Olympic Games in Athens, Greece. He came in second in the world. So he has quite a following and is bringing quite a following to our banquet. 3 more here in the bottom row. Bud O'Brien is from the Phillipsburg area, and he's being inducted for community service in sports. Bud was an athlete, a coach, an announcer, a fundraiser, anything under the world that you needed in the Phillipsburg area. Bud O'Brien stepped up and did the job. Skip Baghetti follows a long line of Baltimore area wrestlers into our Hall of Fame. Many of them have won state championships. Skip won the heavyweight state championship and had an incredible high school record, something like 18-9, 5-3 or something like that. Went on and wrestled at Penn State. And finally, Matt Suey is our 11th inductee. Matt got more votes this year than any of our candidates, nominees in history. He got over 96% of the vote. Matt was a three-time All-State running back at State High. 4 years he lettered at Penn State, and then he played 10 years in the NFL with the Chicago Bears and was known for the blocking back in front of Walter Payton, who led the NFL in career yardage at that time. Matt also scored a touchdown in Super Bowl 20 when the Bears won the Super Bowl championship. So those are the highlights of the 11 inductees. Again, we're delighted that all the schools in Penn State are represented again this year. And that's not us selecting them, that's the voters selecting them. So it shows that we have a county-wide organization and county-wide votes, and that they pick great people. I want to turn it over now to Bonnie Burris, who will talk a little bit about our banquet. And then after Bonnie, Dick and Lloyd can talk about the Baldy Gory wrestling team that we're going to honor.
Good morning. I'll tell you a little bit about our banquet. It's being held on October 20 at the Penn Stater Hotel and Conference Center on 215 Innovation Boulevard in State College. We still have room for guests to attend. I think our count is up as of this morning, 241. And last year, I think we had 325 guests or something like that, and there's still time to register if you would like to attend. We brought registration forms, and I have flyers of the inductees. The day will begin with a social at 12 o'clock and 12 to 1. And then we're usually ready to go into the banquet hall at 1:15, 1:30. We play on the safe side and say that we will begin the induction ceremony at 1:35. And then we have a few things going, and we have luncheon, and after the luncheon, then we have the induction ceremony. And it's a very rewarding thing for the inductees. I mean, the families just seem so appreciative of what we do for them, and it's a big day for them. So we would like to invite you to attend the banquet if you possibly can. We have to make our cutoff for registration, for reservations on October 10, because we are required to give a final count to the Penn Staters. So you could also register online at our website, centercountysportshalloffame.com. And there, I think it's under events, and you go down and it's a Ticket Leap site, so you could register online if you so choose, or just fill out the form and send it in. Thank you.
Thanks.
Why don't you guys take your seats here?
First of all, I'd like to really thank Keith for doing a tremendous job as president of our Sports Hall of Fame committee. He does a tremendous job, and in every club like that, somebody does all the hard work, and that goes to Bonnie. She does a tremendous job, and it was just so nice to be able to work with Bonnie. Bonnie's wife, Dawn, was one of my assistant coaches for 20-some years. What'd I say?
You said her wife.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I know what you meant.
Well, this day and age, Anyhow, Dawn was a tremendous friend. We went a lot of trips together, and it was just a joy. They continue to push our club forward, and it's really heartwarming that they are honoring the 99 team, which is the 25th anniversary this year, and the team they honored last year, it was their 50th. So it just happened that way. But anyhow, We had a tremendous team. We lost 2 matches that year. One to Blair Academy at the beginning of the year, which happened to be a good loss because they were a tremendous team, and it got us going in the right direction. And then towards the end of the year, we lost on a Saturday, early Saturday match to Brookville at home even, and that was very discouraging. And in retrospect, it was probably a great loss to have because we got our head straightened out and we became a much stronger team. I didn't have too much pity for them in practice for the rest of the year. In fact, I did learn one thing. I don't have to worry about having a heart attack because they claimed I didn't have a heart.
No.
Ouch.
But the results are what counts. And at the end of the year, they come on strong. The first state team dual meet championship, we won in the finals 53-0 over Upper Perkiomen from down in the eastern part of the state. I think that record might stand forever, a shutout in the dual meet finals. And then the backtracking a little bit, the Beast of the East tournament in Delaware, we went there, we won that. I think at the time we were the only public high school to ever win it, and I think that's still in effect today. It's the Catholic schools and the private schools that usually win it. So
They can recruit there.
that was a big plus on our side, and that I'm sure was a deciding thing that made us the number 1 team in the nation. We had a tremendous bunch of kids, and my brother Lloyd was our elementary coach, and he did such a tremendous job. Back in the early 70s, I started Bald Eagle in the fall of 71, and we had a couple decent years, and then we were running pretty rough. And Lloyd and I talked, and we decided we needed an elementary program of our own. We had kids coming over to Bellefonte at the YMCA, but we have to get them and train them our way. And that's Lloyd started them and did a tremendous job. And they come up through, and the thing about our elementary program and junior high program and senior high program, we just continued doing what they started doing and adding a little bit to it. I've seen programs where the elementary's doing one thing, junior high's doing something else, and the senior high's doing something else altogether. Well, I had the program. So it really worked for us. In the 80s and 90s, we were on a pretty solid roll the whole time. But I thank the Center County Sports Hall of Fame for recognizing that team because they certainly are deserving.
Not a whole lot to add. I brought a picture of the Beast of the East tournament trophy.
Oh, awesome.
Ron Bracken verified that was the biggest trophy in Center County, and
I think you got an email in there.
and certainly the most impressive. In fact, it sat on the desk in the main office of the high school for quite a while, and
Sorry, I don't understand.
it's trying to do a voice. Just go to sleep. But anyway, it sat on the desk for a long time there, and then it actually moved down to Bestway Truck Stop because Junior Paghetti, Skip's father, had a nice room down there where he was honoring Center County wrestling, and it was there for a while. And then we got it out of there whenever that had to go away. And Dick and a friend of his built that trophy case, and the school installed it for us in the lobby there, and it's still on display. It's a pretty fantastic trophy. Just the only thing I'd add that Dick didn't mention, we really had a good thing going, particularly in the 90s. In the decade of the 90s, Bald Eagle area won every District 6 championship in AAA. And we're a little small school, small enough to be AA. We won every District 6 championship. We won 7 regional championships in the decade of the 90s, and we were ranked first in the state 4 times. And then in 1999, we were proclaimed the #1 team in the country by all of the major wrestling publications. So it was really a testimony to the kids and to the wrestling club that was helping back our efforts. And we still have a very strong wrestling club today, which is great to see. So that's all I have to add to that.
Wonderful. We'd like to thank former Commissioner Keith Beerley and Bonnie, who does all the work, and Dick and Lloyd for stories of hard work and triumph over adversity. Commissioner Concepcion, any
Yeah,
comments?
thanks for coming in and telling us the story of this team particularly. I knew Center County has like a really incredible legacy in regard to wrestling, that sport here, we just have a tradition of excellence, and I think that probably reflects on coaches and people who have put a lot of time and effort into mentoring kids and bringing people up through the sport and really building that legacy in Center County. And you can see it today still. We have, tremendous wrestling club opportunities for kids and young people who are doing really well. And yeah, Penn State obviously has its own really incredible program, which I think is connected to how wrestling has.
They're finally getting the girls' sports where they
Yes.
should be with the
Yes.
girls.
Yep.
And they're gonna do a tremendous job. They really are.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of excitement from girls getting to participate in that sport and compete with girls,
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
the Pennsylvania girls have won 2 of the national championships consecutively.
Oh, that's fantastic.
From Pennsylvania, USA Pennsylvania Wrestling, backing their efforts to go to those championships. So the boys' sport, Pennsylvania is universally recognized as the toughest state in the country for high school wrestling. And now the girls are about ready to step into that same role.
Yep. That's great. And really, this is quite an impressive group of inductees this year. A number of people whose names I certainly recognize and am familiar with their careers, who've put a lot of effort and heart into Center County athletics. So thank you to all of you who are here to talk with us about it, try to make the banquet. So.
And Commissioner Dersham, who I know is a huge wrestling fan.
Well, I don't even know where to start. You guys are wrestling royalty in Center County, so I will start with thank you for all that you've done to promote the sport. And I would also say thank you for allowing Jimmy Martin into the Center County Hall of Fame. Dr. Martin has an esteemed history of not only saving many skeletal parts from disarray here in Center County, but also winning a national championship that I happen to have on VHS tape that I was digging out the other day. And he beat a really tough kid from Iowa that year, and that was really, he's the real deal, and nobody more deserving. And I know Dave Lamason here, he's a huge Bald Eagle wrestling guy, so we're all thankful that you're here today, and look forward to honoring the teams throughout the 90s and in the future. And Center County wrestling is alive and well. We have more good things happening in Center County than we can even mention in wrestling, both at and I will have a little spillover into Clinton County. We're very proud of the Lock Haven program too.
Yes.
They're building pretty strong team with Scott Moore down there, who has a lot of Center County ties too. So we're all pleased at wrestling in our region, and it's alive and well. So thank you.
You mentioned Jimmy Martin. I don't think there's anybody more humble than him than maybe Cal Sanderson.
Yeah. And he was the real deal. Yep. Not a real big guy.
No?
And the kid he wrestled in Iowa that year he just came out covered in tattoos and just sort of like a bear, compared to Jimmy, but Jimmy put it to him and got a national championship.
It's the heart.
Indeed.
Do we have any questions from the press? No? All right. Well, unless there's anything else, come on up.
Should we pass the
Whole crew?
adopt the
Yeah, you're right. We got to
proclamation?
adopt it first, then we'll bring up the crew.
So I will gladly move to adopt Proclamation 48 of 2024 proclaiming October 20th, 2024 as Center County Sports Hall of Fame Day in Center County.
And I will second that.
We have motion a second to adopt proclamation number 48, proclaiming October 20th as Center County Sports Hall of Fame Day in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Let's come on up.
All right. Thanks, Keith.
Get a photo.
You guys looking good too. No matter what Keith says about you.
Maybe another foot or two my way, just so we can fit everything.
Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks for all you do. Keeping this tribe straight here.
There we go.
I guess I gotta get my reservation. I'll get that taken care of. Thank you very much. You guys behave yourself. See you very soon. I'm still using your name. I'm still using your name badge.
All right, and busy day at the Commissioners' meeting. We have another proclamation, proclamation number 49, proclaiming October 3rd as the Day of Caring for Center County, sponsored by the Center County United Way. And I think we have Megan and Celeste here to cover that.
Another important thing here in Center County
Yes.
that kind of marks the fall season.
Do you want this seat? No, go ahead. It's all you, girl.
October it is.
October it is.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Why don't you tell us a bit about the Day of Caring that's so important to the nearly 300 charities and nonprofits in Center County?
You want me to go or you go?
You can go first, sure. She's the coordinator, she knows everything about it.
Not really, I just go with it. No. So what's important about Day of Caring? Well, how long has it been around?
31 years.
31 years, right?
We
So,
had one year of non-in-person, which was COVID, and this is the 30th year of in-person.
so really simple premise, right? All of these organizations that we have that surround us and lift us up need so many hands every day. And we find a way to connect those hands to do some work and take care of projects they may have. Some get more creative than others. Some are just everyday kind of stuff you would do at home or you have on your honey-do list that he forgets to do. And you find a nice connection with a group of people that want to come out, whether they're coming because they have a personal investment or they come because their business supports them coming. And they make a nice connection. Some of those connections become, you guys are awesome. We're coming more days, not just Day of Caring. Some are, we have committed groups that will say, this is the group I go to, there's no choice. So you go with that. And that's the Day of Caring. A wonderful example of, I think, Center County
Yes.
in our community.
Sitting here this morning has been amazing with these first two stories, and it just really made me think that over 30 years ago, retired Marine Colonel Jerry Russell sat at the corner room with his buddies. I guess they met there once a week and had breakfast. And the story goes that one of those meetings, he said to Brent Pasquinelli and whoever else was at the table with him, we have these great nonprofits that do so much for our community, and they don't have the time to rake their leaves and paint and
Yes.
keep their facilities up. What if we just had a day where the community got together and did that for them? Imagine the money that they would save, imagine the extra time that they would have to give to their clients. And apparently when Colonel Russell said, let's do something, it happened. So he came to United Way and said, can I have an office in your office, and can I coordinate this, and can you give me a staff person to help me? And of course, when Colonel Russell says it, you do it. So that's how it started. And the word testament has been used a lot this morning, and I think the Day of Caring happening every year for 30 years, PNC Bank supporting it every year for 30 years, so that none of the money that we raise in our campaign is used for Day of Caring. PNC covers all of that. And like Celeste said, people are volunteering. There are people who will tell us the shirts are the thing that you get for volunteering. And they've got every shirt from every year, and that's something that they're proud of. And a lot of these people have to take a vacation day or a personal day to do this. And the fact that they keep coming back and it keeps growing is really a testament to our community and the people in our community and how generous they are and supportive, that they want to take this day and just do manual labor for these agencies that they know and appreciate, who do so much for the people in our community that need help. So, yeah, it's more than just one day of people doing work. It's been 3 decades, and it continues. There's not a lot of things that, events like that continue, you know, for more than 10 years, let alone 30. So we're really proud to be a part of it.
We are. And there are some groups that I think are an exceptional kind of thing to note. And I think most particular to me is Bellefonte High School. It's a challenge to find some space for the group size that you have and to accommodate how you get them everywhere. But the Bellefonte High School is committed to sending their juniors and seniors out for the Day of Caring. That's 425 students that you need to find a space for, that they need to logistically maneuver to spaces, find places that have the right size work for that kind of a group. And that's a large part of us. Is there are a lot of students, but Bellefonte is a sparkling star in the amount that they send out, which is great. So I think that that's important. The ROTC will send a portion of a battalion. I'm pretty sure that's the size definition we have, and they will go to 2 locations. They split up and go and have their marching orders in that format. So
It's a great day.
it is. And we have over 48 sites this year and approximately 1,500 volunteers. There are some people that missed the deadline, and so I hate to turn somebody away from wanting to work hard and find them a spot somewhere.
Well, that's a tremendous story. The over 300 nonprofits in Center County assist, I think, Julie, it's about 24,000 individuals in 2023. So we'd like to thank the over 1,500 Center County citizens. We're going to, I think you said 45 sites?
About 45.
45 sites, because these nonprofits have lawns, they have buildings, they have driveways, they have furniture and painting that needs to be moved around, or painting that needs to be done. So lots and lots of things to do, but a huge benefit to these charities. So like you say, they're concentrating on their mission, not their infrastructure.
And you know, we didn't mention this, but we should point out, United Way has 24 partner agencies. We're not just working with them.
Yeah.
It's open to any nonprofit in Center County.
Wonderful. Commissioner Concepcion, comments?
Yeah, thanks for coming in to share about this with us and
Absolutely.
the community. It just really speaks to how committed people are in this community to helping the nonprofits. And these kind of events can like connect people to nonprofits that they might not have otherwise known or been aware of their work, that hopefully can, you know, build volunteerism throughout the year. And I think that's really goes, having that sense of volunteerism is just, that's how we take care of each other in our community. And it makes a tremendous difference for the quality of life here in Center County, I think.
Absolutely.
The
So, thank you
volunteers
for-
that first experience they had with Rising Hope Therapeutic Riding Center,
Oh, yes.
the first year that they went there to volunteer for Day of Caring, they loved it so much they go back weekly. So through Day of Caring, they have their
Every year of caring.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, so they're no
Yeah.
longer our Day of Caring group because they're so regular that they'll be there in addition. So
great.
they just kind of rope more in.
That's awesome.
It's
Thank you for
fantastic
your work on
that,
this.
that you keep Colonel Russell's legacy alive. Colonel Russell was a World War II decorated combat veteran in the Pacific Theater in the Marine Corps, and an incredible human being. And he's one of my heroes, and it's really fantastic that his memory is still glowing out there and changing lives.
Well, one of the reasons that I chose to kind of assist the United Way and to be part of Day of Caring was years ago when I would work in some of the group homes that would have Day of Caring. Colonel Russell came to visit you, and for the presence that gentleman had, and you made sure that you wanted to be in it when Colonel Russell would come and speak with you and make sure that things were there. So it is a privilege to remember how much he valued Center County and how much he saw a little bit of work would go a really long way.
Thank you.
And Steve, Sue Paterno is our honorary chair and has been for the 30 years, and she comes to the volunteer breakfasts that we do beforehand, and she's the last person to speak, and every year she talks about Colonel Russell, and the last line of her speech is, "Now get to work," because that's exactly what he would say to them. He'd thank them for being there, glad you enjoyed breakfast, now get to work. So she carries that tradition on as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, yeah, the people of Center County are very special, and that's why we have such a great quality of life. This time I will remember to take a motion before we recognize the group.
So, with that, I will move to proclaim October 3rd, 2024 as a Day of Caring in Center County.
I will second.
We have a motion, a second, to adopt proclamation number 49, proclaiming October 3rd as a Day of Caring in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any questions from the press on this proclamation? No? All right, come on up and we'll recognize you. Center on kind of the. There we go. Thank you. Thanks so much. You're welcome.
Good luck organizing this event.
Thanks, JJ. All right. We have one bid and proposal that Liz will be covering. I hope there she is. Again, major piece of news about broadband expansion here in Center County. Oh, you have a slideshow.
Yeah, I just have a real quick
great.
thing to go through with you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning to talk about the broadband expansion RFP. Essentially what I have done is taken the RFP that we used last year under the Capital Projects Fund and just kind of revised it and applied it in advance of the BEAD Fund program. The Pennsylvania Broadband Development Authority is slated to meet on October 10th, and we are anticipating that they are going to fully roll out the timeline for the BEAD Fund programs. So I'm here today to ask your permission to release the RFP and the advertising to get out in front of this program and to be able to start to do those identification project areas with the companies as we had done before. I know it's been a while since I've been down here to talk to you about broadband. Over the last few months, though, there has been a number of map challenges. If you remember last year, the FCC at the national level had been soliciting information from residents and businesses throughout April and even up through September of this year. The Pennsylvania Broadband Development Authority is reviewing and taking the map challenges. So we are anticipating, again, a kind of that open period of October, November for an application under the BEAD program. If this looks familiar to you, the map on the screen, this was part of the broadband strategic plan, and these were the targeted zones that CTC Technology had advised would be the best ones for investment. They still remain pretty much the same, although there have been some smaller ongoing projects in Center County for deployment. I think most of us have been waiting for the BEAD program to open up to really be able to get to the deployment of projects in these different zones. We're going to keep the requirements of the proposal similar to what it was under the Capital Projects Fund. These are the 6 points that I will be looking at as far as the technical requirements of any project that would come to the county. Comprehensiveness of the entire proposal, what the technical solution is, meaning, are they going to do a wired project through fiber or cable, or are they going to suggest a wireless solution? We do want to see some level of affordability for low-income households. If a company has that experience and if the project itself seems to be viable. And finally, the cost. I really want to see what the cost per household for that hookup is going to be. So here with this BEAD program, if you're aware, with the state doing their own mapping, what we want to do is we want to try to find some kind of alignment between what the state is going to roll out as what they say those areas need to be served, and then how does that line up with the county's strategic plan in those polygons in the blast map. So here's the timeline as far as those deadlines. We're going to be releasing the RFP today. We'll be taking questions from proposers through October, as well as giving responses to those questions. And we're not looking at a submission deadline until early January 3rd, 2025. That's just kind of by design to allow a company that wants to respond to Center County's RFP adequate time. Once the application for BEAD opens, it's going to be moving pretty fast for these companies. So we want to give them some courtesy leadway so they can make a response to Center County. So with that, if you have some questions, we can certainly discuss it.
Well, Liz, thank you very much for making a very complicated topic relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So we're going to give the potential partners and companies that can provide the internet services a couple of months to respond, and you even have several weeks for questions up front, which is tremendous. And did want to remind the internet service providers that the Center County Commissioners have reserved up to $1 million of American Rescue Plan funding for local match, because I believe this program has a 25% local match requirement.
Yeah, there is a 25% local match requirement. Now, for some locations that are considered to be at like a very high cost, the FCC and the NTIA will consider those with a less match requirement.
All right. But still, regardless, there's local match required from the internet service provider with potential help from counties, municipalities, and school districts, as I remember.
Yes.
All right. Great. Commissioner Concepcion, comments or questions?
No, I'm just glad to see this moving along finally. It's been a long wait for this opening, so that I'm glad we're poised and ready and have the data to be able to put together hopefully some good proposals that will go in and be competitive.
Yeah,
So.
we are hopeful too. The last RFP that we released, we had like 8 proposals
Yeah.
come across the table, and those are very good proposals. So I'm hopeful that we'll get a similar pool of proposals this time.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I understand that there's been some movement of bringing fiber optic capability into some of the more rural areas. Have we heard anything about that, or aside from all this funding?
Yeah, so there has been some ongoing projects with Center Wisp, if you're aware that they had gone up to Snowshoe area and they had gotten the main line up Route 144. They also did some work in the Tussieville area. Comcast is finishing up their projects in Curtin and Liberty Township. So
And I heard Verizon has some projects in the works as well.
they do. And Verizon, their footprint was traditionally like the copper lines for DSL. And they are starting to navigate more over into the fiber. So they may very well decide to put in a proposal for Center County.
Tremendous. Any questions from the press on this one?
The last RFP, you selected 3 providers, is that right?
There was 2 providers in 4 projects.
Will there be multiple companies selected this time, or are you narrowing it down to one?
I think it'll really be at the discretion of what comes in. If we get a couple good proposals, I think that they should both advance. Under the Capital Projects Fund, we weren't entirely clear what the authority was looking for. And then after the fact, it was more described to us that they were looking for those very large projects that could serve a number of locations at one time. But now under the BEAD, there's going to be a lot of different areas, like smaller pockets that are going to have to be served. And the money is there to fund these projects. So if we could get 3 or 4 projects advanced again at Center County, I would certainly recommend that those go to the authority.
Were there mapping challenges in Center County?
There were limited mapping challenges. There was the opportunity through local government to do that, and I had done a few challenges, but one of the, it was kind of like two sides to the coin, that I knew if there was maybe a location missing or a wrong address, but I couldn't speak for that resident to say, oh, I have internet or I don't have internet. Those kind of challenges had happened before at the national level.
Last question, is there anywhere along there that there'll be any more time, space for any more public input?
In other words, the county says we're looking at such and such
Companies or whatever, for the public to respond, customer response?
I think there certainly could be, in between, the responses to the questions and the submission deadline, we could certainly take some feedback.
Yeah, they could contact the planning office for that. Great questions, Gary.
Thank you.
We,
Thank you.
we know Far Eastern Center County is near and dear to your heart, so we'll
interesting customer response.
remind Liz on that one. Any other questions on the Center County broadband expansion request for proposal? No? All right, looks like we'll take a motion then.
Then I'll move to approve advertisement of the request for proposals for Center County broadband expansion.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve advertisement of the request for proposals for the Center County broadband expansion. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you very much.
And now we have a whole bunch of contracts and proposals. I think Jonathan will start us off with the capital projects, and I think you're sharing it with Chad somehow, too.
Good morning. I'm asking for your consideration and approval for change orders for coordination requirements at the Human Services Facility. These total $28,128.52, and they are for the general contractor, GM McCrossin.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan. That's a relatively small number for a roughly $30 million project.
Correct.
So glad
We try to
see
keep the
that.
change orders to a minimum.
Yeah. Commissioner Concepcion, comments or questions?
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing this, and, we understand when you're doing a renovation project particularly, there's some things that are unknown until you get
Correct.
behind the walls. So,
Yep.
thanks.
Commissioner Dershowitz? All right.
I'll move to approve the change orders for the Human Services Facility.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the change orders for the Human Services Facility. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. And then it looks like you're covering the next two, and then maybe Chad does the last one?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm asking for your consideration to approve a contract with Pantera Engineering to provide design services for retaining wall and parking lot improvements at the courthouse complex. These would be the lots on the north side of the courthouse.
Great. Thanks, Jonathan. I believe the contract total is $65K on that.
It is,
All right.
yes. The design services are $65,000, and that would be through design bid proposals.
All right.
The next item is a contract with Warriors Mark Fencing to add additional fencing and a gate at the rear of the Willowbank building. The gate would be about 5 feet wide to allow access for our staff to do maintenance work. And this contract is for $3,363.
All right. Seems pretty reasonable for a small project. And Chad, are you covering the co-stars?
Yes, I am. So this contract is to consider for approval for CoStar's contract with Sage Technology Solution to provide a new video matrix system in our Emergency Operations Center. The system in place now has been in there since the inception of the center, and I believe in 2013. It was also put in by Sage, so we've definitely got our money's worth out of it. Over the past couple of months, we've been doing kind of Band-Aid type of solutions to get the system to work, but I think it's a time that we put a new, more modern system in place down in our EOC, and the contract total for that would be $56,573.51.
And in the technology field, 11 years is a very, very long
Yes.
time.
Yep.
Questions of Commissioner Concepcion on any one of the three projects?
Yeah, I mean, these are, I think some good improvements. We know the parking situation around the courthouse has been a real strain, but the most important thing right now is that we have some retaining walls that need some immediate attention because of some subsidence. So I think that's a good idea to go forward with that engineering study. And, the fencing is simply, keep our area secure around here, so.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
All good to go.
All right.
I'll move to add capital project items 2 through 4 to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add capital projects items 2 through 4 to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Jonathan and Chad. Now we'll move on to planning and community development, and I think Ray is covering the first one.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. This morning, we're asking your consideration for the approval of renouncing of remaining funds for Phase 2 of the Redevelopment Assistance Program, otherwise known as RACP, as the grantee for the Center County Grange Park Equine Center. The amount total is $273,912. With an official termination date of September 30th, 2024. The Office of Budget has requested a letter be signed by the grantee, which is Center County, and the sub-grantee, which is the Grange Park. They are indicating that since this is closing at the end of the month, they would like a letter to confirm this renouncing of funds. I have contacted the Grange, Darlene Confer. They have no intention of pursuing Phase 2, so she in turn signed the letter first for the Commissioner's consideration.
Great. Thanks, Ray. We'd like to thank you and your department for the fairly heavy lift of administering those RACP grants for Grange Fair. Obviously, the first phase of that project has been tremendous, improved the quality of life in Center County, but also brought a lot of tourists to the county, and I believe the closest hotel is the Wyndham, and I think last year it was rated as the best Wyndham in the United States. So thanks for your department's assistance with this.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe the first part of this Phase 1 was about $4 million in RACP. And I'd be remiss without thanking Sue Hannigan, the previous Assistant Director of Planning, who was the consultant on that project.
Yes.
This is virtually the only part I've worked on. So,
All right.
But it is important to keep the Office of Budget abreast of all these changes. And with Phase 2 not moving forward, they're going to redistribute those funds probably somewhere else.
Great. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, thanks for the update on this.
Steve? All right.
Okay. I'll move to approve the renouncement of funds for the Phase 2 Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program Grant.
We have a motion and a second to approve the renouncement of funds for the Phase 2 Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program Grant. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks,
Thank
Ray.
you.
All right, and now Chris has a memorandum of understanding for a business park. Oh, and you've got a slide presentation as well.
Okay.
Lot in today's meeting.
Thank you. All right, thank you and good morning. We have one memorandum of understanding on today's agenda, and just a real quick reminder for everyone in attendance is the memorandum of understanding, or MOU for short, is a three-party, it's an agreement. It doesn't approve the plan, but it's a three-party agreement. In this case, it's between the developer, township, and the county, whereby the developer will agree to reimburse, in this case, Potter Township's engineer for the costs associated with the reviewing, inspecting, and approving the engineering details of the plan. It's just a reimbursement for the township's engineers processing of the plan. That's why the county is getting involved with that. Now, with that being said, the memorandum of understanding is for the Nittany Business Park. This is located in Potter Township, and it's located on the south side of Route 45. This is in Center Hall at the intersection of 144 and 45, where the former Snappies, existing Dunkin', and the Sheets. And if you go about a quarter of a mile, you're going to make your way to, and speaking of the Grange, this is Holman Lane. And right across from Holman Lane is the 2 tracts of land that are going to be replotted and turned into what's called the Nittany Business Park. And what's being proposed initially is a 5-lot subdivision where the developer is going to construct a road system that's going to be built to public street standards and offer for dedication to the township as a public street. And it's going to be subdivided into 5 lots. You have 2, 3, 4. This is lot 2RA as well as 1RR. In addition to the subdivision, they're also at the same time going to be proposing two buildings as part of the development. Lot 2 is proposed for a 4-unit office building, and then Lot 3 is proposed to be a private bus maintenance garage. And as you can see, this is the intersection with Holman Lane and 144. And that's the MOU that's being presented to the board today.
Great, thanks, Chris. Glad to see some business expansion in Center County and the kind of the south Center Hall area. Commissioner Concepcion, anything?
Yeah, it looks like this is, good use of the space near that, the Land Pro area. And,
right.
Yeah, so, yeah, good.
Commissioner
Sounds great.
Gershon.
Thank you.
All right.
Project.
I'll move then to add the memorandum of understanding for the Nittany Business Park to next week's consent agenda.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to add the memorandum of understanding for the business park to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate it. Moving on to contracts for human services. First one will be transportation. Dave Lamison will cover that.
Thank you very much. What a rewarding day to be at the meeting. My, oh my, the stork pinning and the Hall of Fame. I've had the privilege of being acquainted with Coach Rhodes and his brother Lloyd for many years. I was in the arena when we won the state championship for the first time, and just have spent a lot of time with those gentlemen and the whole organization. And I also have to share that my Human Services Administrator's father was a running back coach for State High back when Matsui played in high school.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So there's a lot of tribute there too, because I went there as an 8th grader from Baltigo Nittany High School, and all we did was watch this guy run up and down the field. Nobody could stop him.
Yep.
He was that good. So tribute goes to her father, because they helped make him. But I come before you today and ask for consideration of approval of an advertisement of the sale of county vehicles at the Central Pennsylvania Auto Auction on October 17th, 2024 at 8 a.m. The cost to the county would not exceed $6,500 to conduct this public auction, and that would be the total I would ask you to approve, and approve the fact that we could sell the 15 vehicles. We have 1 utility trailer, and we have a tractor and attachments that we're also going to sell. This would be our 3rd year doing this. It's been very lucrative for us to do this type of deal. Once you approve it, they come pick them up, they take them, they touch them up, clean them up a little bit, make them look nice, and then we go down and sell them. And when the hammer drops, we don't have to deal with them anymore. And the nightmares of online bidding and people not coming to pick them up, and those days are behind us, thank goodness, thanks to the commissioner's initiative to do this. But that's what I asked for today.
Great, thanks for covering that, Dave. And yeah, this just seems to be a more effective and efficient way of taking care of vehicles that don't fit the county's needs anymore. And we got 15 plus.
Yep.
So that's great. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, it's a good way to ensure we get our value back out of these vehicles.
That's very true, yes. We actually do. We've made out much better in the last 2 years of doing this than we did in probably the last 10 years or more. So, yeah, it works out really well.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
Sounds great.
He's a part of it. He comes to it.
Oh, yeah.
He's participated, so he knows.
Tires.
Yep.
All right. I'll move to approve advertisement and contract with Central Pennsylvania Auto Auction.
Second.
We have motion and second to approve the advertisement and contract with Central Pennsylvania Auto Auction. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great, thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much.
All right, and now speaking of our Human Services Administrator, here's Julia with contract for children and youth.
Good morning. I only have one for you today. So it's you request or consider approval of a contract with Mount Nittany Medical Center Health Services Incorporated to provide consultant services for the multidisciplinary team for Center County Children and Youth Services. Contract total for $10,000. The county shares $2,000. This is so that a pediatrician can sit on Children and Youth Services multidisciplinary team, the team that reviews abuse and neglect cases per state regulation.
Great, thanks for covering that in detail, Julia. Appreciate it. Commissioner Concepcion, any
Thank you.
comments? No? Commissioner Dershowitz?
Good to go.
All right.
I'll move to add the contract with Mount Nittany Medical Center Health Services, doing business as Mount Nittany Physician Group, to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with Mount Nittany Medical Center Health Services to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Julia. And Quentin, thanks for your patience. You've got a contract for aging.
Yep. So I'm asking for consideration to submit an application for the RSVP AmeriCorps Senior Grant. To just give you a little background on this, this is the 3-year grant. We actually didn't get this grant last time, and we were able to get a 2-year grant through ARPA funds. And our 2-year grant is actually expiring at the end of this month. So this grant has become available. We've worked with our RSVP council and then Liz and Elsie in planning to put together an application. The application is a total of 3 years for a total of $547,755, and part of that is there is a county match with that as well. And it's a 3-year grant. It runs from April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2027, if we would receive the grant.
Thank you, Quentin. And you just had your recognition for this group, I think it was a week or two ago.
Yep.
Hundreds and hundreds of volunteers, primarily seniors,
Yep.
helping the nonprofits throughout the county do a broad variety of things. And we would like to thank our federal legislators, Senator Bob Casey, Senator John Fetterman, and Congressman G.T. Thompson for helping us bring this grant back to Center County.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do what we do in the program, to have the outreach that we do with them, and actually to have the program without the support of Center County commissioners and also of the federal government.
Great. Commissioner Concepcion?
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for continuing to build this program. And I know that it's been, coming back from after the pandemic, getting this kind of rebuilt, and it's turned back into a thriving program.
Yeah,
It's good to see.
Last year, we had over 26,000 hours done in 2023. So we've really have bounced back since COVID.
It's all great.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
No, it's perfect. I think it speaks for itself that it's been very, very remarkable and rewarding for many people and good for the community. So
Absolutely.
Continue to support it.
I'll move to.
Do you have a
appro-
question,
sorry.
Gary? No. Okay.
And I'll move to approve the Retired Senior Volunteer Program AmeriCorps Senior Grant application.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, AmeriCorps Senior Grant application. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Quentin.
Great, thank you.
Moving on to authorities, boards, and commissions. We have an appointment to our Ag Land Preservation Board. Heather Ishler is appointed effective today through September 23rd of 2027. Unless there's any questions, we'll take a motion.
All right. I'll move to approve the ABC appointment.
We have a motion and a second to approve the ABC appointment. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries, and I believe this is where we were now adding the letter of support
Oh, that's right.
for the Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center grant. Are you handling
Yep,
that, Natalie?
I am.
Okay.
So they contacted our Children and Youth Office. The Mount Nittany's Child Advocacy Center is submitting an application to the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency Grant. It is due September 30th. hence the quick turnaround that we were asking for. They are submitting a grant in the total of $47,000. This grant primarily assists them in their general operations. That includes forensic interviews and medical examinations. And so there's no match or anything on our behalf. This is really us supporting the efforts. As we know, the CYS office works incredibly close and is in hand with that Children's Advocacy Center. So we wanted to be able to provide this letter of support for them due to the deadline.
Great. Any questions from other commissioner on that one?
Yeah, I think the Children's Advocacy Center
Yeah.
is an amazing place. And
Yep.
it not only serves Center County, but it's used regionally. And it really makes a one-stop shop for a lot of folks that have to interview children in probably the worst of times. So, great program.
Thankfully, this way the children just have to go through it one time instead of 5 or 6 times.
And with the support of professionals who
Yeah.
are there to, Then I will move to add the letter of support for Mount Nittany. Actually, I'm not moving to add the letter, it's a movement to approve
Approve
the
the
letter
letter.
of support for Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center grant.
I will second that.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the letter of support for the Mount Nittany Health Center Mount Nittany Health Children's Advocacy Center grant. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries.
I want to thank Mount Nittany for taking this on
Yes.
a number of years back and done a fantastic job
They have.
of shepherding the program.
Yes. We'll move on to the check run with Commissioner Concepcion.
Okay, the check that I'd like to recognize today from the check run is to the Center County Public Safety Training Center. The commissioners have been supporting some capital improvements at that site to keep it in good shape to serve the needs of our first responders who use it for training. And with that, I will move to approve the check run dated September 20th, 2024.
I will second that.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the check run dated September 20th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. I'm assuming there's no administrative
No report.
report this morning. Moving on to reports and announcements, voter registration report from Commissioner Concepcion.
All right. Okay, so today we have our total voters on the report as 103,815 total voters. That is up 1,034 from last week. We have 43,206 Democratic voters, 157 Green Party, 598 Libertarian, 14,961 with no affiliation, and 41,927 Republican voters. All of the smaller parties comprise 2,966 voters, bringing us to that total of 103,815. Our party of the week is the People's Working Party of the United States, and they have one registered voter here in Center County. Our precinct of the week is 71, Potter Township South. Potter Township South has 1,382 registered voters. At the last election in April, they had a voter turnout of 34.6%. Potter South, Precinct 71, votes at the Potter Township Supervisors Building at 124 Short Road, Spring Mills, PA, and we are thankful to the Potter Township Supervisors for the use of their building. And that's our voter report.
Thanks, Amber. Moving on to announcements. October 21st is the last day to register to vote before the November 5th election. In order to vote in Center County, you do need to be registered in Center County. October 29th is the last day to apply for a mail-in or civilian absentee ballot for the November 5th election. Do we have any executive sessions to report or hold now?
We have one to report. An executive session was held on September 19th from 2:05 PM to 2:09 PM for a personnel matter.
Great, thank you. Our public meeting schedule, we had a work session that was supposed to start about 20 minutes ago. We'll take a couple-minute break and then move into that work session. On Thursday, we have Finance Committee meeting at 9, Employee Benefits Trust at 10, and Retirement Board at 11. And then we moved it by a day. We have our Board of Elections meeting this Friday at 1 PM here in the Willowbank Building, and we will make whatever adjustments we need to make to try to accommodate the crowd. Any additional questions from the press? No? All right, unless there's anything else, we'll take a motion to adjourn at 11:20.
Okay, I will move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn at 11:20. All those in favor of adjourning, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries, and we'll start the work session here in a couple minutes.